Learning to speak Norwegian was a challenge for me. What I have found is the quickest and easiest way to learn a foreign language is to live among the people and hear them as they speak their language. I did go through a couple of months of training before I left, but when I got to Norway, I found that I didn't understand hardly a word of what they were saying. They spoke much faster than what I was prepared for. Also, just like here, there are different dialects. Depending on where you're from, we'll have a different dialect in how you speak and the words that you use. For example, in Oslo, they have the most beautiful sing-songy way of speaking, and they enunciate their words very specifically and very in a staccato way. And I loved listening to those who were from Oslo and the Oslo Fjord area speaking Norwegian. And then if you were from northern Norway, the northern Norwegians spoke more of a drawn-out type. And in fact, for we as Americans, the way we speak, we don't speak with nearly as much sing-song as a lot of Norwegians do. We're more flat in the way we speak. And so once I finally learned how to speak Norwegian, I felt it a great compliment when people would ask me, what part of North Norway are you from? Then when you get down into communities like Bergen, Bergen has its own accent, and they are so proud of their accent and the way they speak. And I loved listening to the people from Bergen speak. Trondheim had its own specific dialect. Kristiansand down on the south had another dialect. But what I found is once I was immersed into the culture, was speaking with people every day, it took me about 6 months and I felt comfortable. I could have conversations, I could carry on, I could discuss with all of the people normal everyday activities. I was able, if you got into nuclear physics, I couldn't talk about that, but I could talk about normal everyday communication, how to get to the store, how's your day, what's going on in your family, what's happening in town, how's work going. Those kind of conversations became very common for me. And after about 6 months, I found that my thinking went from speaking English to speaking Norwegian. And I knew that I was assimilated and really prepared and doing well when I started dreaming in Norwegian. And so it was fun. I would find myself at times speaking with Norwegians and carrying on a conversation and thinking to myself in my head, I can't believe this. I am actually speaking Norwegian with Norwegians, and they can understand me, and I can understand them, and we're communicating. One more item that's really important about learning a foreign language, and for me in learning Norwegian, is making sure that you know how to read in the language. And I spend a lot of time, and still do now, even after all these years, I regularly read Norwegian newspapers, and I'll read Norwegian books. And because I can pull up so many videos on YouTube from Norway with Norwegians, I'm able to listen and hear the language. But it's important that you know how to read it so that you can recognize it. Reading, once you have it in your brain, when you go back later and you read, it reminds you of words that cognitively you had forgotten about. And you go, oh yeah, that's right. That's the word for this. That's the word for this. And reading is a very good way to maintain a foreign language.